Hi, friends. I'm so excited to talk to you again today, and especially because we're going to get back into shape right now. And to do that, we need to talk about a new shape. At this point, are you thinking, oh my goodness, we've talked about all the shapes. We've talked about circles. We've talked about squares. We've talked about eggs. We've even talked about bees. Well, my friends, we are missing one very, very important shape. And even if your creativity is just getting a little bit tired right now, I'm going to say to you, we've got to triangle even harder to make sure that we talk about all the fun shapes that there are in the world. So we can do it. We can make our creativity work for us today. So to get things started, I wanted to talk a little bit about the triangle. Now, I believe that the triangle makes up an important part of the basic shape trifecta. Have you ever heard of a trifecta before? It's three things coming together. So that would be the circle, the square, and then the triangle make up the basic shape trifecta. Now, trifecta and triangle have something in common. Can you guess what that is? I'll give you a hint. A tricycle has the same thing in common with those two items. Could it be three? A trifecta is three things coming together. A triangle has three corners, and a tricycle has three wheels. So when we're talking about a triangle, we're talking about three corners. So I can't wait to explore the different triangles that I found around my house to see if you have any ideas of where there might be triangles in yours. So let's look at some of the things I found. First of all, you may be saying, what is that star doing here? So let's start with the star. Do you notice what the star has on it? It has a point here, and it meets down to a point here and there. So it turns out if you put 5 different triangles together, you can make a star. And that's an important thing to know because triangles are tricky. So they can be hidden in all sorts of different places. So we have to look extra careful when you're looking for triangles because they're so tricky. So here's a fun one. Do you know what this little guy is? Anyone who's saying Santa or an elf? No, 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 it's a gnome. We know gnomes because they have very pointy hats. That's the way that we can tell them apart. So this gnome with his pointy triangle hat, he is hidden right here on my little Christmas jar, my Christmas tin. Since I'm kind of already playing games with you, I can show you this fun game. It's a triangle jumping game where you move the pieces in a triangle formation and you try and get the pieces down to just one by skipping over other T's. So this is a really fun game that I used to love playing when I was your age. So I recommend that you find it and you give it a try as well. Another fun thing that you see when playing games, have you ever played a game where you spin the wheel and see where it lands? Oh, I better hop because it landed on Frog. But this arrow is in the shape of a triangle. It's not very pointy on these ends. You can see the point right there. But it's one corner, two corners, up to the top corner. So this arrow is like a triangle. And as it's zipping around and it moves to the different animals, you can see that the pieces of the wheel are also triangles. Isn't that neat? I love playing funny, silly games where you get to act like the animal, don't you? Those are really fun. Oh, right here, I have a mountain scene. Have you ever seen mountains in real life? I have, and they look like they're big triangles in the sky. So when I made this, I made it look like there were mountaintops. And you know what makes a mountain look even more like a triangle? When it has snow at the top in little teeny triangles on top of one big triangle. So I made that fun mountain scene. And how about different foods? Have you had different foods that are shaped like triangles. Here's a fun one. Oh, my gnome's getting all roly-poly right now. How about this? Now you may say, Betsy, we've already covered the round fruits. That gnome is just going to keep on going. Well, this is from a round orange, but when you slice it, what do you get? That's right, you get little triangle citrus pockets. Yeah, there are little triangle sections that are so juicy inside. That's how the triangle is hiding in there. And then over here, do you see this? This is a wedge of Parmesan cheese. And it is, oh, so delicious when you grind it up on your pasta or when you put it on your pizza. That's right. Another fun food that's in the shape of a triangle is a slice of pizza. So if you take your round pizza and you cut it into pieces, you're most likely going to get a triangle piece. And that reminds me of another food that I just happen to have right here. It's similar to a pizza pie, but instead it's just a fruit pie. Now I know. This is 100% a circle. But if I put my pie down and I get out my special triangle server, and I need a little plate, so thankfully I have one of those sitting nearby. But if I take my triangle server and I lift it into my pie, don't worry, my hands are clean because I made sure to wash them. And I pull out a piece. Look what I just took out of my pie. A triangle's missing. And set that down here. And what do I have left but a delicious triangle to eat? Now remember, anytime we eat delicious things, we need to make sure that we have a napkin. And my napkin, although it's square to begin with, it has triangles on it. And if you fold it over, this is one of my favorite napkin folds. If you fold it over, you can have a nice napkin to go with your pie. So fun, right? And that's all from just some basic trying over here. Now, another thing that we have are some blocks. Now, I love triangle blocks because you can do so many things with them. You can stack them like this and make another bit of a kind of pyramid because I'm making a little triangle. Or if I put them together like this, if I stack my blocks together and add a little roof on top, I have a house. So houses, the house that you're in right now may have a triangle roof on it. So they're just all around us, which makes it so fun. And then I'm sure you all noticed, because I am the queen of my house after all, that I have a triangle crown. Lots and lots and lots of triangles put together to make a fancy, fancy crown for our fun talk today. So this is so fun to look at all these different triangles. And because we've already made crowns before, I wanted to see if you can make something else with me. I'm going to take this off and see if you can find one more thing on the table that we haven't quite talked about yet. You spotted it. Great job. This is called a pennant, not to be confused with a pennant. I'm getting confused already. This is a pendant. I'm wearing a triangle pendant on my neck, but this is a pennant. And it's something that we use when we're cheering for people who are doing fun things, especially when they're playing different sports. Now, that, of course, is a dolphin. It's a logo for the Miami Dolphins, and you can see that there are sun sparks coming off of it. So there are some triangles hidden in this logo already. But when we see dolphins, what do we have to be worried about? We have to be worried about sharks. And if you worry about a little shark and their teeth, then let me tell you, you've got to be extra concerned about bigger sharks because they have even bigger teeth. And what you really need to be worried about are the great white sharks, because they have even bigger teeth yet. So one caution is, if you're dealing with dolphins, you should be a little bit cautious of what else is in the water, including sharks. And frankly, on land, if there is an animal that has a tooth that's shaped like a triangle, I think you should just take extra care. That includes tigers and lions. So beware when you're out there. And one more thing before we move fully onto our craft that you should be cautious about. If you ever happen to see a dinosaur out there, like this Triceratops, and yes, it is called a Triceratops because it has 3 horns. If you see a Triceratops with a triangle nose, you best run the other way. And oh, did you spy another one? That's right. We see a lot of these days. When you're on your different devices, you see a triangle and hit it and your show plays. So triangles are just everywhere. But getting back to our pennants, we're going to make one of those today. So I've asked to see if you have any pencils in your house. This is a pencil that I have ready to go. And for this activity, I recommend that you try it without having the pencil sharpened. But if you only have a pencil that's sharpened, that's okay too. And speaking of pencils, if you look at my colored pencil right here, what does the tip of my pencil look like? A triangle. And what does the tip of my crayon look like? A triangle. I'm telling you, they're all over, including we're going to use a ruler today. And did you know that in addition to just straight rulers, that there are these kind of crazy triangle rulers? When people are working on things like designing houses and doing lots of different drafting work, they need more measurements. They need to add angles in. And so that's why there's a special triangle ruler, which is really fun. But today I'm going to take 2 pieces of paper, 2 different colored pieces of paper. I'm going to get my pencil and keep it out. And then I'm just going to use a regular ruler because I don't have a lot of space to use the bigger ruler. And what we're going to do is we're going to create pennants for our pencils. Won't that be so fun? So the first thing that we need to do is take our paper and decide which one we want to be on the bottom and which one we want to be on top. And I've decided this one is going to be on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the corners in and I'm going to do a hamburger fold. So I'm doing a fatter fold with my 2 corners in, and I'm going to press it down and fold right there. Work. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my other paper. 2 corners coming in. Great, great, great. So 2 different hamburger folds, and then I'm going to cut my paper in half just along the crease. And it does not need to be perfect. See how I'm cutting it? Just along the crease. If you don't get it perfectly in that center fold, that is no problem at all. I'm going to do it on both papers. Cut, cut, cut. Whoop! And that's okay that that fell down, because guess what? I don't need it anyway. I'm going to actually get rid of this paper as well. So then this is going to be my inside paper. So I'm going to do the same thing where I fold it over, and I'm going to do a hamburger fold with the 2 ends coming together and a fold in the center. Oops. I'm going to cut it in the middle. Do you, see what's happening right now? What just happened? Did my pencil roll onto the floor? Thank goodness I have a second one right here. So I have a backup ready to go. But that's one of the problems that you can run into when you're dealing with circles, which is why at some restaurants, they've created triangle crayons so that the triangle crayons don't roll onto the floor and the people working at the restaurant don't have to pick up all the crazy crayons. Triangles, keeping people happy, making things easy on folks. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the ends of my paper in to make a hot dog fold. So that's the longer fold. And I'm just gonna go in here and I'm gonna make a little crease, just a center crease. I'm gonna do the same thing on my tall paper too. My paper got into my pie, so excuse me while I take a little taste quickly. Thank goodness I have my napkin handy. Same thing on the bigger paper. I'm gonna make the hot dog fold. So I've got that crease in the middle. Then I'm gonna take my ruler and my sharpened pencil. And I'm going to go from the bottom corner all the way up to the corner, or excuse me, to the crease that I made in the center. See how I made that line from the bottom corner up to the crease? And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other end. Let's see. No problem, easy peasy. And I'm gonna do, with my little piece of paper, I'm gonna follow that same direction. So I'm going to line up my ruler, or you can use, even if you don't have a ruler, you don't even really need a ruler for this. You can take your other piece of paper. I'll show you how to do it with this one. You can take your other piece of paper and just line it up so that you have a straight line between the corner and the top crease. So see, even if you don't have a fancy schmancy ruler like I have, you can still do this activity. You just need a straight line. Okay. And once I have those two triangles ready, I'm gonna cut them out with my scissors, which, by the way, point, end, end. Even my scissors have a triangle in them. Everywhere. They are everywhere. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut along the line. Again, it does not need to be perfect. You just wanna get a fun triangle shape. Works. So just following along that line again. Boom. And then I'm gonna do the little triangle. Whoops. I love cutting out paper. I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things is actually to trace and cut things out. Do you get that idea? Do you see all the triangles that I cut out above my head today? Yeah, because I think they're so fun. So I cut out a bunch. So I'm going to take my bigger triangle and I'm going to take the pencil that did not roll onto the floor, and I'm going to take the paper. And before we talked about how paper is, okay, so with my pliable paper, I'm just winding it around my pencil so that the eraser is on top. And once I have a nice, good shape, see how I've been able to hold the shape of my paper even when the pencil's outside of it? I'm gonna put that aside for a second, and then I'm gonna take my second triangle, and I'm gonna get my glue stick, and I'm going to use my glue stick to get some nice glue up until the edges. You don't need too much, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna put my little triangle into my bigger triangle. Now the reason that I did, there we go. The reason that I did the big triangle first, I'm actually gonna reposition that a little bit. I didn't love where it landed. Is that I wanna know where my pencil is gonna be so that I didn't put my inner triangle too far on the edge. So that's why I made where the pencil is gonna be first, and then I knew where to put my other triangle. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and get my white glue. And for this one, you can use hot glue or you can use white glue. I'm gonna use white glue to show you how easy this can be. And I'm gonna put a good amount of white glue onto my pencil. See how I've got it all up in there? And I'm gonna take my paper that already has the pencil area ready, and I'm gonna wrap it around. So I'm just gonna twist my glue a little bit. I'm gonna roll my paper in there. I'm gonna get it nice and secure. And anytime you use white glue, you wanna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good job, because you want it to get nice and stuck. And there, look what we have. We have a pencil that I can hold independent of the paper and it's together. And if I hold the paper and the pencil stuck. So we have a pennant ready to go. So the next thing that I want to do is add a couple of decorations. I'm going to add a unicorn because I love unicorns. And if you look at my unicorn, what's on its horn? A triangle, of course. And then I'm going to take a marker, and by following the shape of the triangle, I'm going to write my name. This is something that sports teams do a lot. And because the triangle gets smaller and smaller, as I make my letters, they also get smaller and smaller. Look how fun that is. I'm cheering for me today. Woohoo! Way to go. And another fun thing is if you're lucky enough to be a person with a name that starts with the letter A, guess what you have hiding in your name? A triangle. So they are everywhere. I'm telling you, they are absolutely everywhere. And then you can take your pendant and you can draw anything with some crayons or markers, or you can even, I always love adding a couple of little pom-poms, even though they're not triangles, they're so darn fun. How can you not put them onto your pennant? So I'm gonna add a couple right here. Just like that. And voila, you are ready to celebrate and to cheer. Woohoo! And if it happens to fall off, just like mine did right there, guess what you just have to do? Add a little bit more glue. This time it's going to be hot glue because it's going to be stuck on there. Okay, now I'm ready to cheer. Woohoo! It's been so fun talking triangles with you today. And I hope that you'll try lots of different crafts featuring these fun little triangles and that you have a fantastic time getting into crafts and getting into shapes with me. All right, until next time, friends, I'll talk to you later. Don't forget to tune in to BC_storytime and see all the videos that I have on YouTube. All right, friends, talk